Back with more Keanu-thon, and today I'll be talking about reviewing the 1999 classic, The Matrix. What more can you say about this film? Again, it's a classic. I don't remember seeing it when it came out, but I do remember seeing it a year later. I think it may have been like fall of 2000, and I was at my uncle's place in Arizona, and everybody went somewhere, and I just wanted to hang around the house, watch movies, watch TV. And I watched this for the first time when I was probably 11. So, yeah, I mean, and since then I've seen it quite a few times, along with the sequels. But, again, it's one of these classics. And, and thinking about it, it really, when you think about this film, that not a lot of people talk about, I see some people talk about, but it changed in a way, how movies, have been made, especially in the last, 20 years. It kind of started with this movie, and you can say, with superhero films and, the plethora of these comic book films, you can say The Matrix kind of paved that road. I mean, it sort of paved the way for all these comic book films, and because this was a hit when it came out. I mean, the budget, I did write down some information. Budget was $63 million budget. Went on to make $465 million. So, I mean, again, huge hit. I can't stress that enough. And, I mean, the same year, 1999, you had other great movies like Fight Club, and including this movie. And I mean, I was trying to think what other films that came out that year. I mean, just for example, I mean, Blair Witch Project, The Sixth Sense, Phantom Menace came out that year, The Iron Giant, Office Space, The Mummy, The Green Mile, Big Daddy, Tarzan, Galaxy Quest, End of Days with Arnold, great movie, Deep Blue Sea, Sleepy Hollow, Varsity Blues, Analyze This, October Sky. So, I mean, great year for movies. A lot of great movies came out that year. But, again, huge hit, and I wish I caught this back in the day in a theater. It would have been awesome. But, get into the story real quick. I always mention, tell the story first, kind of a nutshell plot. You have our main character, Keanu Reeves. During the day, he's just, in the beginning, he's our main character, Thomas Anderson. And he's a man that's living two lives. By day, he's this average computer programmer. And by night, he's a hacker. And meanwhile, he kind of questions, different things, reality, but, the truth is far beyond his imagination. And soon he finds himself targeted because he's contacted by this mysterious person, Morpheus, played by Laurence Fishburne, and on his computer, because he gets like little messages. And so, and you find out that Morpheus is this character that's being pursued by, the government and such. And soon you have this character, Trini, who is played by Carrie-Anne. She contacts Neo and says, that Morpheus has all the answers you're looking for. So then you have this one scene where, his character, because he's also known as Neo, which I forgot to mention, that's his hacking alias, Neo. So you have one part where he gets arrested by these agents that, they're in pursuit of Morpheus. They see him as a terrorist, led by Agent Smith, played by Hugo Weaving, is a great job as Agent Smith. And I love the interrogation scene where he's like, Mr. Anderson, we would like for you to cooperate. And lays out the deal, and Count is like, that sounds nice. I have another idea. How about if I give you the finger? And I get my phone call. And I love that scene. That's where he gets bugged. But, after that, Trinity picks up Neo, Keanu Reeves' character, and she brings him to Morpheus. And from there, Morpheus, lays out the blue pill, red pill, which is another iconic scene. And from there, Neo, of course, choosing the red pill, is shown to a real new, real world where, the future is this ravaged wasteland, and humanity has been taken over by the machines, and, that humans are, their minds are imprisoned, and artificial, it's reality, everything's artificial within this matrix. And, there's sort of like a rebellion against the machines. This group, Morpheus's group on this ship called the Nebuchadnezzar, and, Neo must return to the Matrix to confront these agents, long story short, because these agents are trying to snuff out this group and Neo's character, because Laurence Fishburne, his character, believes he's the one to save us from, these people, and to save humans, and again stop these agents from snuffing out these people. And so yeah, I mean, again, I know I kind of went all over with the plot there, because everyone pretty much knows the plot by now. I mean, if you haven't seen The Matrix, where have you been? But, and there's more to that, but, and the simulation, and then it kind of goes into, the machines. Like I mentioned, machines have taken over, and the city of Zion, which they mention is sort of like the last refuge for free humans. But, and so, they kind of, the plug, with that plug into the Matrix. So, but anyways, again, I know I'm just kind of going all over there with the plot, but again, it's like, what more can you say about this film? I love the film. To me, it's a great movie. And, with the cast, I mean, Keanu Reeves, he does a great job as Neo. And of course, as we all know, Will Smith was considered, and I wrote it down right here too, if I could find it. Yeah, it says right here, 1996, the Wachowskis, which at this time, they were the Wachowski brothers, and I guess now they're Wachowski sisters. But back in 1996, they had pitched the role of Neo to Will Smith. Smith explained on his YouTube channel that, the idea was for him to be Neo, and Morpheus was going to be played by Val Kilmer. He later explained that he did not quite understand the concept, and he turned down the role. Instead of, doing The Matrix, he did Wild Wild West that year. And I like Will Smith, but, to me, Keanu Reeves knocked it out of the park. I still haven't seen Wild Wild West, just a little bit here and there. But, like, getting back to the cast for a second, Laurence Fishburne as Morpheus does a great job, and, definitely some great lines in the film, where he mentions, what is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. And, I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. And again, it's wonderful dialogue, and again, Laurence Fishburne did a great job. And I was trying to see who else was up for the part. I think like Russell Crowe, turned down the role of Morpheus. He said, I just didn't get it. I couldn't get past page 42. The world was not that interesting to me. So yeah, Russell Crowe was up for Morpheus. Apparently Lou Diamond Phillips was sent the script, but later told by his agents that the movie would flop. I wonder what character he would have been, but wow, didn't know that. I mean, it's interesting, to learn about, but yeah, getting back to the cast, I mean, Carrie-Anne Moss, she's great in the film. And, of course, come back for the sequels as Trinity, and even with the film, the film's opening, you see her character, and fighting these security guys. And I mean, who else you got in the film? You have, again, Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith, who does a great job as this villain, this agent. And then, by the end of the film, sort of the final showdown, between Agent Smith and Neo in the subway fight scenes, and you got the scene where he has him down on the tracks, and he's like, "You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That is a sound of inevitability. It is the sound of your death. Goodbye, Mr. Anderson. My name is Neo." And he just breaks free. And just a great fight in the subway. And then, especially at the end of the film where, towards the end, after the subway, when Neo's in the hallway, and he gets up after Agent Smith, shot him a few times, and then they're all looking at Neo, and you get that great score that kicks in, and Morpheus, is like, he's the one. And then Neo's looking around, and the agents fire their guns, and he stops the bullet, stops the bullets like that. And again, great score, and that's just a rousing moment in the film. Everyone knows that scene, of course, but just a great moment. But again, Hugo Weaving's great. Joe Pantoliano, or I call him Joey Pants to make it easier. Pantoliano. See, I can never get that name out. I just call him Joey Pants. Pantoliano. Yeah, there you go. I got it. Yeah, I messed it up there, but I always call him Joey Pants. But yeah, he plays this character Cypher, shady character, which he turns coat in the middle of the film on Morpheus's crew, and he kills a couple. He kills like half the damn crew. But he stopped, and they kill Joey Pants in the film. He is good, and I like the other crew members too. The other characters in this crew. I was trying to see some of the actors that like the character of Tank, who was played by Marcus Chong, APOC, Mouse, Switch, Dozier, or Dozer. Dozer. But, just fun supporting characters. And of course, the character of Oracle, who's played by Gloria Foster, which I know she passed away like a year or two later after making this film, and she was able to film her scene for The Matrix Reloaded. So, and then by the third film, they recasted her. But, she was great. And of course, we all remember the scene with the spoon. That it is not the spoon that bends, it's only yourself. And, this film, the thing is, I may be going over the place with this film, but it's like, what more can you say about The Matrix? And, just a lot of iconic scenes, and, but get back to my notes here for a second. But, I mean, again, just a great cast. I mean, from Keanu, Carrie-Anne Moss, Laurence Fishburne as Morpheus, Hugo Weaving, his characters, Agent Smith, a great villain, great antagonist. Joey Pants in the film as his character Cypher, turncoat character. And I love the way that the Nebuchadnezzar looked in, this world where they're being pursued by these sentinels or squiddies. Really enjoyed that, and just great special effects at this time. The visuals are nice to look at, and they still hold up. And then, of course, this is where we get to like the bullet time, where, we got the scene on the roof where, he dodges the bullets, and which, of course, with that, it kind of got, bullet time. I think it just got, I'm trying to think of a word, stretched out. I mean, the thing is, you kept seeing that in films, and I think after a while it just got tiring. I think people got tired of bullet time, because it just got copied and copied. But this film is known for popularizing the visual effect known as bullet time, and it allows a shot to progress in slow motion while the camera appears to be, move through the scene at normal speed. Bullet time has been described as a visual analogy for privileged moments of consciousness within the Matrix. And, again, it's used throughout the film to illustrate the character's exertion of control over time and space. So, but, to me, this is where it's done best. And I think, again, it just got copied so much over the years by other movies that people got tired of it. And again, this is to me where they do it best. And, but also too, as far as like some other tidbits about the film, in 2012, The Matrix was selected by the U.S. Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry archives. So, and the Wachowskis, as far as like, I didn't even talk about development. See, I'm kind of, going all over the place here, but okay, it says right here, getting back to the development of the film. In 1994, the Wachowskis presented the script for the film Assassins to Warner Brothers Pictures. After the president of production of the company at the time read the script, he decided to buy rights to it and include 2 more pictures, Bound and The Matrix, in the contract. The first movie the Wachowskis directed, Bound, then became a critical success. Using this momentum, the siblings later asked to direct The Matrix. And that's where, a couple of years later, they pitched the role to Will Smith. Producer Joe Silver soon joined the project, although the project had key supporters like Joe Silver and this other guy to influence the company. The Matrix was still a huge investment for Warner Brothers, which, had to invest $60 million to create a movie with deep philosophical ideas and difficult special effects. The Wachowskis therefore hired underground comic book artists Jeff Darrow and Steve Scroce, Scroce, to draw a 600-page shot-by-shot storyboard for the entire film. The storyboard eventually earned the studio's approval, and it was decided to film in Australia to make most of the budget. Soon, The Matrix became a co-production of Warner Brothers and Village Roadshow Pictures. So there's a little, development history, but but as far as like, some other, again, tidbits about the film, getting back to the tidbits, trivia, if you will. Sandra Bullock turned down the role of Trinity because she couldn't see herself acting alongside the actor the studio intended to play Neo. So I guess Will Smith. But it also says right here that, prior to this, Bullock had worked with Keanu on Speed, and, later on they would do The Lake House, but, she later regretted the decision. Prior to pre-production, Keanu Reeves suffered a 2-level fusion on his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis in his legs, requiring him to undergo neck surgery. He was still recovering by the time of pre-production, but insisted on training. And this, with Wu Ping Young, I probably pronounced that wrong, but, to let him practice with punches and lighter moves. And, Reeves trained hard and even requested training on his days off. However, the surgery still made him unable to kick for 2 out of the 4 months of training. And the Wachowskis have said that the popular, Japanese manga and the film of, Ghost in the Shell were big influences on the film, of the development of the film. And, and as a result, Reeves did not kick much in the film, so. But I think what I did there, when I was copying some trivia, it kind of got mixed up with that little bit about Keanu's injury, but but yeah, like I mentioned, Ghost in the Shell was an influence, but back to the Keanu Reeves, that's why he did not kick much in the film. I don't know what happened, where he had to have 2-level fusion on his spine, but again, yeah, there's just a little bit of information right there. Great score by Don Davis. Sort of that techno score. Really enjoyed the score. Great soundtrack. And again, it's just one of these films. It's like, it's iconic. It's an iconic movie, and what more can you say about it? What more can you say about The Matrix? I mean, I think on IMDb in the top 250, it's got to be, I think it's like in the top 20. And of course, spawning sequels, which I do like. I enjoy the sequels. I'll be reviewing those next, and some good features on here. So I haven't seen all the features, but you do have some commentaries. You got some commentaries up here, a documentary, Behind the Matrix, 7 featurettes. Damn. Take the Red Pill documentary, 2 featurettes. And yes, of course, I mean, with this film, there's a lot of philosophical meanings and such, and that I didn't really get into much. It's a film that makes you think about, reality and stuff like that. And I'm probably not the best at, discussing that or, mentioning that or getting deep into that. But, it's like I said before, and I know I keep repeating this, but it's just, what more can you say about The Matrix? So, but again, it's a classic with a great cast and, iconic moments and scenes that, after 21 years, still holds up, and, with the great score and, from, the lines in the film from Morpheus and, the fight scenes, I forgot about the dojo scene, I know Kung Fu, show me. And you got the fight in the dojo and, where he's training, because they all get these abilities. And yeah, I mean, and then at the end of the film where the fight in the subway between Neo and Agent Smith, and yeah, it's iconic. And then you got the scene where, after he gets beat up and he does that, he's getting ready to fight again. And then again at the end of the film where he's in the hallway and Morpheus is saying he's the one. And just a great score that kicks in. So again, I know I'm just probably rambling, but The Matrix is a great movie. But next up, reviewing The Matrix Reloaded, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you later.